Shalom Aleichem Ravotai. It is the 31st day of the Omer. We are continuing Mishnah Yomi in the fourth parak of Sheviit at the third Mishnah. Chochrin nirin mina ovdei kochavim b'Shviit. You can arrange to lease for the following year a plowed field from non-Jews on Sheviit. So it's the Shemitah year now, and what you're doing is speaking with a non-Jew about leasing his field the following year. What this does is it causes him to plow the field during the Sheviit year. He's going to want to give you a plowed field. That's the stipulations of the contract, or that was the minhag. So he's going to plow his field during Sheviit, and you're going to use it on the 8th year. Not a problem. Avalo mi Yisrael, but you could not arrange such a lease from a Jewish person because they would be tempted to plow the field or begin plowing or preparing the field to give you a ready-to-use field on the 8th year. They would start doing work on the 7th year. That would be the temptation. Machazikin yedei ovdei kochavim b'Shviit, and you can chazak, strengthen the hands of non-Jews working on Sheviit. Barnura says you say yashar kochacha kiyotzi b'zeh, or things like this. You could give them a chazak baruch, as is the Sephardi custom. Like chazak means you're encouraging them verbally. You're not literally working with them, but you're telling them, I hope your crops turn out well. This looks great. Good plowing. Nice straight rows. You could give them verbal encouragements, make them stronger through this. Avalo yedei Yisrael, but not a Jew who's doing some sort of labor on Sheviit. Instead, you should give him tochacha, or report him to the rabbinical authorities who are gonna, set him straight. B'sholin b'shloman, and you could inquire to their welfare, because of the ways of peace, to promote peace. Now, this is referring to non-Jews. You could ask them how they're doing and say good morning. Now, that doesn't sound like a chiddush. That sounds obvious. Of course, we should be doing that. Kol darchecha sholom. It's the Torah wants us to be pleasant people. The Bartner says, afilu b'yom chagam, even if it's a non-Jewish holiday, and there's a concern, if you're extra nice to a pagan on his pagan holiday, then he will offer extra thanks to an idol, and that's not appropriate. That's like it's a shtickle lifnei iver. So, even though it's a holiday, you can say good morning, how you doing? Now, to say Merry Xmas, no, but thankfully you could say Happy Holidays, and you could, in general, if it's a national holiday, and you could just be nice to people in general, and we're not concerned that's going to further their interest in Avodah Zarah. Mishnah Doled, Hameidel Bezaitim. Someone's thinning out his olive trees. Maybe he needs the trees, or he just needs to have them growing more strongly. They're too close together. Beit Shammai Omrim Yogim. He can't rip them out by the roots because that prepares the land they're planted in. But Yogim means he cuts them and he leaves the stump. Beit Hillel Omrim Yisharish. Beit Hillel says you could even rip out the roots, the shrashim, even uproot it, even though that does loosen the soil, but his intent is not to loosen the soil, but to get the trees out. Modim b'machalik od sheyugim, and they agree by smoothing. Now, machalik is like Yaakov Avinu was ish chalak. He was not so hairy. So that smoothing is like smoothing the land by clearing it out. By clearing out a bunch of trees, we'll see together, ad sheyugim, he can't rip out the roots, he has to leave the stump. Ezehim meidel. So what is thinning? Echad u'shnayim. That's just taking one or two trees. A machalik, shlosha ze b'tzad ze. And machalik, smoothing out, clearing mamish, is three that are next to each other. When does this rule apply? Mitoch shalo. Thinning trees or clearing trees in his own field. Aval mitoch shachavero, in someone else's field. Afa machalik yisharish. Even somebody who's, mamish smoothing, clearing, he can rip them up by the roots, because again, we're not concerned that your intention in someone else's field, as we've seen in prior Mishnah, is to do preparatory work for planting. Shkoyach.